Hey there, thanks for checking out my channel. This is my very first YouTube video, and I'm a little bit nervous to get started with this thing. But I'm excited for a new adventure, and I have to say, this one has me really stepping outside of my comfort zone. First, I guess I should introduce myself. I'm Dawn, I'm in my 40s, and I'm being laid off this year. And somehow that's become my entire identity. As someone who built a career on helping people, I'm hoping to take this opportunity and turn it into a positive. I really want to use my experiences to help you. Maybe you or someone you know is going through the same thing, or maybe you're just worried that you'll be next. Layoffs seem to be spreading like wildfire right now. Going through this can easily knock the most confident down a couple pegs. It might even take you to rock bottom. Do you feel like your life is over? Trust me, you're not alone. So many people are going through this right now. For me, it's been about 2 months since my company announced that they were going to outsource the IT department. I left the meeting optimistic and far too hopeful. I really thought that I would be retained. I thought that what I did was important and I thought it was really essential to the business. That afternoon, I was blindsided by the words, "Your position is being eliminated." It didn't help that the man telling me this news seemed almost joyful. Tell me you don't care without telling me you don't care. Finding out that you're being laid off is one thing, but being told by a man laughing is a completely different story. I think that was the most dehumanizing moment of my entire life. Don't you feel like a leader should be empathetic or maybe have a little bit of emotional intelligence? Sure, behind closed doors, you might not actually care about me at all. But to my face, it would be nice that you acted like it was hard to tell me. I felt like I was on a game show. Tell her what she's won, Bob. A one-way ticket to the unemployment office. Gee, thanks, Jim. I'm so lucky that I won this grand prize in life twice. Once when I was 30 and once 2 months ago. Do we find it odd that the guy who told me both times was named Jim? Maybe I should avoid gyms from now on. I do consider myself lucky, which is a funny statement. I'm lucky to be laid off. Not really, maybe, but I am lucky that I was given an 8-month notice period. And once you consider the rest of the benefits of being laid off, again, a funny thing to say, you wind up with uh, maybe 10 to 12-month cushion. I do anyway. So, what does life really look like after the layoff notice? Initially, I had a lot of big feelings. I was shocked as I heard the news, but I was okay. I really thought that it wasn't just me, I thought it was my team that was being laid off, and that it was a group thing, and that it wasn't personal. It sounded like, oh, just everyone goes together. It wasn't until the next day that I found out that one out of four of us on the team and also my manager was retained. And I think that was really the point where it set in and my emotions started to unravel. I always compare the emotions that I feel when I talk about this to the stages of grief. What died? My job, my career. Uh, but it's true. You initially you feel shock. You might feel like you're angry, you might be in denial. You might start questioning things. And then you might come out of it on the other side and there starts to be some acceptance and maybe some actual happiness surrounding it. At least in my case, I went through all of those emotions. And the one that I don't think a lot of people talk about is shame. I was very ashamed in the beginning. The shame was probably the hardest thing for me because I feel like when I think someone is going to judge me, I immediately start to get welled up or feel like I might cry. I didn't want to tell friends and family. I didn't want them to judge me. I didn't want them to think that I was bad at my job. And that was difficult because you need to tell people, you need to have a community, you need to be able to talk to people to get just support and have people around you that are going to encourage you and tell you that everything's going to be okay, even in the moments that you don't want to hear that it's going to be okay. And I know I had a million responses for everything's going to be okay. Looking back over the 2 months is hard. Emotions hit me hard. There was probably 2 weeks that I didn't really want to do anything. I barely wanted to get out of bed. You feel like life as you know it is over, which isn't such a bad thing if you think about it, in my case, anyway. I have to say, I really like what I do. I really like the people that I work with every day, the people that I'm helping. But in the grand scheme of things, can't say a lot for the 40-hour work week. And I can't say a lot for working so hard and caring so much about something when you don't even know the people who really get the big reward. Following those 2 weeks, I think I went into problem solving mode. I wanted to know that I would be okay. So I immediately started to do everything that I could think of to resolve the issue at hand. What's the issue at hand? We're about to have a cat join us. Anyhow, I found myself spending sometimes 4 hours. I was doom scrolling everywhere that you could find a job and looking for anything applicable. Now, I have a different perspective on job searching than a lot of the information that I see out in the world. There seems to be a lot of people out there who will tell you to apply to hundreds of jobs a week. I don't take that approach. I'm no expert, but I took a very concentrated approach. I was looking for jobs that are very similar to what I do right now. Somehow I feel lucky that I heard back from one of them. We'll get into that whole experience in a completely different video because I think the experience in itself deserves a whole video. But it kind of took me until maybe another month to kind of reel it in a little bit and realize that I have all this runway. I don't need to panic in the moment. I can take my time. And what taking my time looked like was a little bit of soul searching. I can easily say that the, I just said it. I mean, the 40 hours that you work a week, the 40 hours that you're away from maybe your home, away from your family, in my case, away from the cat that's about to show up again. And I was traveling, so I wasn't at home. That takes a toll on you after a while. This channel was dreamt up in a time where I realized how many layoffs were happening. And I realized that there are so many people out there being affected by this. In my case, my job's being offshored, and I was super worried about AI. As big as this issue is becoming, I think we need to share our experiences. We need to know we're not alone. We need to know that the shame that we're feeling is normal. We need to help each other get past the rough spot and find the other side. Do you want to find another position? What things are working? What things aren't working? Do you have any great pointers? What's the next step? Do you want to do something else? How do you go about soul searching? How do you find out what you really want to do? How do you figure that out? So, a couple things that I wanted to talk about. I could probably go on for days about the feelings. The current job market, as we hear more and more that people are being laid off, I think the market is saturated. I feel like I'm up against the wall. If I was looking for the same exact position, I'm not confident that I'm not going up against 50 other people. Um, we could talk about LinkedIn because if you ask me, LinkedIn is becoming the Tinder of the job market. Um, we can talk about my less than stellar experience with a full cycle job interview, but really, the place to start is soul searching, right? You have to decide where you want to go next. I have two resources that I started with. The first one is a powerful message packed into a short and sweet little book. The name of the book is The Dip, and the author is Seth Godin. It's super quick read, and it's really just talking about how to know when to quit and pushing past the hard part for success if you know that what you're doing is worth it. That was a huge impact to make me move in this direction. The second thing that I'm working on is the 4-hour work week, and you get the idea here. There's something stirring in me that corporate life is not for me. This isn't the first time I've thought it, and I think the cushion of the notice period is giving me the wiggle room to explore. So I'm looking at it as a bit of a little game. I certainly still spend some time job searching. I have limited the time so that it's a healthy job search. So once every evening, I do a couple quick searches. I see if there's anything interesting that aligns with what I would want to do, and I take notes, save those for the next day. Only allowing myself an hour or so at night to find those jobs and then shutting it off at the end of that hour is really helpful. It helps you reel it in a bit and allows you to say I've put the effort in that I needed to. That makes me feel accomplished, but I didn't let it get away from me. So those two resources really helped. uh, the dip really helped me kind of refocus. The 4-hour work week is helping me. It even helps with my job right now because there's a lot of time saving techniques or suggestions in there, but really just taking in the information about how successful executives, successful entrepreneurs are changing the way they live. They step back from things. So it's super interesting. The last thing, and I don't have it here, I left it in the other room, but I got a really great journal. And the front of the journal is a place where you can set goals. They're long-term goals, yearly goals. You set those. There's a couple questions, things like, am I living the life I dream of? If not, what's holding me back? The pages are really great, and there's a priority of the day. There's a place for affirmations, which I love, and I start my day with affirmations. Real talk, our thoughts are huge, and I mean, even information coming from the outside is huge. So, positivity breeds more positivity, and negativity breeds more negativity. So we're trying to stay positive. We're trying to keep our head up. Um, if this just happened to you, give yourself an amount of time and then say, it's been 2 weeks. Just put a time limit on it and say, that's going to keep you focused. So maybe feel your feelings, do your little soul searching activity. Maybe we come up with some questions around the soul searching activity. I use the journal. So those resources, the 2 books that I talked about, the dip and the 4-hour work week, and the journal, I can link below so that you have a link to go get those if you think those would be useful resources for you. If you enjoyed the content of this video and you want to hear more about my layoff, who wants to hear more about my layoff? If you want to hear more about my layoff, if you want to talk more about the feelings, if you want to talk more about how awful LinkedIn is because it's just the worst, leave a comment below. I'll check them out and we'll talk about what might help you. I really want to keep making content. Like I said, I think this is a little game for me as I search for jobs. I'm equally as curious and ambitious about what YouTube might be able to bring to me as possibly a second job, but also there's a lot of people out there making it their main job, and I don't know. I look at those people and I say, if they can do it, why can't I? Right? So there's that positivity coming in again. But if you are going through this, keep your head up. There's light at the end of the tunnel. I truly believe that everything does happen for a reason. In my case, I think this is life's way of redirecting me once again. Not that it didn't try to do this before. Maybe I keep getting stuck back in the rut. But I am now questioning the rut. I want to get out of the rut, and life said, give something another go. So over here, um, my little mantra: nothing changes if nothing changes. So new perspective. If you would have heard from me 2 months ago, very, very different girl. She was a sad, why did this happen to me girl? And now it's, I think this was supposed to happen to me. Dare I say, excited this happened to me, and looking forward to the future and new things. So, if you made it this far, that's unbelievable, amazing. Thank you. I probably rambled a little too much, and I will work on all the things that go with this YouTube thing. I hope you come back and check out my next video. And like I said, leave a comment, like the video, share it with your friends if they're going through it too. And like I said, nothing changes if nothing changes, right? I'll see you next time.